What's going on, swim fans? In this video, I'm going to share with you how to improve your freestyle pull and catch. Remember, the water is 800 times more resistive than air, and if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how do you swim as efficiently through the water. You don't want to go to the pool and waste your time. So in this video, we're going to talk about the proper freestyle pulling technique. We're going to talk about the 5 different phases of the pull, and we're also going to talk about a few different drills and pieces of equipment that you can use to improve your freestyle pull and catch. And at the end, I'm gonna give you guys a workout that specifically uses the drills and the skills that we're gonna talk about in this video so that you can take your swimming to the next level. Now, if you guys are new here, welcome to MySwimPro, where we share the latest and greatest to help you improve your performance and health both in and out of the water. So if you're interested in taking your swimming to the next level, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and shout out to this video's sponsor, Aqua Knuckles, but more on them in just a little bit. Let's get right into it, the proper freestyle pull technique. Now, once upon a time, the old school method was to actually pull in an S pattern. So if you go back just 20, 30, 40 years ago, coaches and the best swimmers of the world were preaching how if you want to swim fast through the water, you want to curve your hand underneath the water and create this type of S pattern. What we found is that's actually not as efficient as pulling in the new school model, which is with a straight pull. Now, your arm is not straight. We're going to talk about the early vertical forearm and bending your elbow, but the idea is if your hand enters the water in front of your shoulder, you're going to pull the water in a straight line, in that same line as your shoulder, and you're not going to sweep out and then in underneath your body. You pull in a straight line if you were to do a cross section of your body through the water. If you watch the best swimmers in the world, you listen to the best coaches in the world, they're all going to tell you the same thing. Pull in a straight line. Now, your arm is not straight. In fact, you have something called an early vertical forearm. This is the EVF. I've done a few videos on this. Maybe we'll link them down below in the description. But when you do the early vertical forearm, all we're talking about is positioning your hand in the water so that your forearm creates this vertical plane so you can increase the surface area of your hand and also your forearm so you can pull more water. And the idea of having an early vertical forearm is that you're trying to get into this vertical forearm position as early as possible in the stroke. If it happens at the end of the stroke, then you already missed out on pulling a ton of water. Now let's go ahead and talk about the 5 different phases of your arm stroke. I know I have pull here, but it's really the entire arm cycle. So if you're a more advanced swimmer, you'll understand where these 5 phases come in. And if you're a beginner swimmer, hang on, hit the pause button, maybe watch this a couple different times, this section. But the first part, it starts with the hand entry. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to enter the water with your fingertips first. Often it's your middle finger should enter the water first, and that should happen about half a meter in front of your shoulder. It should be at 11 and 1 if you have the arms of a clock, right? 11 and 1 of a clock. And you're entering the water right in front of your shoulder, 12 to 18 inches, depends how big you are. It shouldn't be, an arm completely straight out, and you shouldn't enter the water at your head. You want to enter the water about half a meter in front, and once your fingertips enter the water in front of your shoulder, you're going to slide them in right underneath the surface of the water, and you're going to reach for full extension. Full extension in the freestyle stroke happens when your hand is underneath the water. Now, after you've entered the water and your hand is fully submerged and now your whole arm is underneath the water, we're going to move into the catch phase. Now, this is really important to have that early vertical forearm because it actually starts when your hands enter the water and you get that full extension, and it's all in the catch phase. So when you're in the catch phase, what you're doing is you're actually starting to angle your fingertips and curl them down to the bottom of the pool. And as you drop your fingertips down to the bottom of the pool, you're going to start to make a paddle with a bent elbow, and you're going to pull with an early vertical forearm. And it's really important that you get this as early as possible in the stroke. And I would say, after watching the best swimmers in the world and swimmers who are not the best in the world, the biggest differentiator between a beginner, intermediate, advanced, and elite swimmer is the swimmer's ability to get into that early vertical forearm as soon as possible. The earlier you can do it and the faster you can initiate that catch, that paddle from your middle finger all the way through your arm into your elbow, that whole big paddle, the faster you can get into that, the faster you're going to swim. Now, the third part here is the pull phase. Once you've initiated the early vertical forearm, you got to pull the water. And this all happens fluidly. So it's not like phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3. It's a fluid motion, and as you pull the water in that straight line, in line with your shoulder, and your body's rotating independently of that pull, then you get to the exit part of the stroke. You gotta make sure you push your hand back and really make sure you're exiting, pushing all the way through the stroke. Sometimes swimmers don't actually finish the catch. This happens when you get tired. I've been there. Brothers and sisters, I've been there. You get tired, your hand is not able to finish the catch. So it's really important that you exit the stroke. And then on the recovery, final part here of this whole 5-part breakdown is on the recovery, you want your elbow above your hand at all times. Honestly, in the entire freestyle stroke, above and below the water, you want your elbow above your hand. Now let's go ahead and talk about a few different drills with and without equipment. The first one I want to share with you is this video's sponsor, Aqua Knuckles. This is one of my favorite pieces of equipment to use at the pool. It actually can increase your force in the water by up to 10% and make you swim up to 2.5% faster. The Aqua Knuckles are really easy to use. They slide onto your middle and ring finger and sit right below your knuckle and above your hand. You have one for each hand, and the goal of these is to practice open finger swimming. Now, I'm not telling you to swim with your hands wide open, just separate your fingers so there's a 5 to 10 millimeter gap between the top of each of your fingers. If you watch the best swimmers in the world, you'll notice that their hands have a slight separation between their fingers, and this is to increase the total surface area of your hand and therefore generate more power. What's really interesting is you can actually try this out of the water. Just take your hand and press it on the table in front of you with your fingers clamped together and see how that feels. Then open your fingers a little bit and press on the table again, and you can feel more control, stability, and power. This is how you want to feel in the water, and the Aqua Knuckles train your body and your mind how to engage the water in a way that will increase your power and therefore help you swim faster. The Aqua Knuckles come in different sizes, and they're actually color-coded, so they look pretty slick in the water. They're very vibrant, and they're a great addition to your swim bag. You can pick them up at the link in the description below. There's even an exclusive 15% discount for the MySwimPro community. Details are down below in the description. So make sure you check out the Aqua Knuckles, and also check out the fist drill. This is our second part here. If you don't have any equipment, this is a classic drill. Swim with your hands in a fist, and this will allow you to really focus on developing that early vertical forearm, because you're essentially cutting off the surface area with your hand, and you're really focusing on catching the water only with your forearm. And then when you open up your hand, you're gonna feel amazing. Now, I wanna get into this workout that actually applies some of these things that we talked about in terms of improving your pull and your catch. Now, this workout is 2,500 meters. It can take 60 minutes or less to complete depending on your speed. Now, the warm-up's really basic, 400 freestyle and then 850s kick just to get things warmed up. The real juiciness of this workout, the meat of it, if you're a vegetarian, I apologize for that reference. Come up with something, let me know in the description what we should say. The drill set, that's the core of this sandwich, this veggie sandwich. We're gonna go 2 rounds. The first part is 450s, and I want you to go fist drill. You can do the fist drill with actually tennis balls or golf balls or something in your hand. Wiffle balls are good too. Do 450s, focusing on that early vertical forearm. Then you're gonna go 450s with the Aqua Knuckles. Now you're gonna focus on separating those fingers a little bit. You're gonna really grab the water and increase that surface area of your hand. After those 450s, you're gonna go 450s with paddles. So you're gonna really try and maximize how much surface area you have with your hands and your forearms. And then after those 3 sets of 450s, you're gonna go 200 freestyle, perfect freestyle, and you're gonna wear fins. The fins are gonna give you some extra speed, some extra propulsion, and that's gonna help you really feel what's going on with your hands at a high level because you're moving faster through the water. Now, I want you to go through this set 2 rounds. The first round, kind of go slower. Don't worry about how fast you're going. Just try and think about slowing things down. Grab the water with your forearms. And then on round 2, let's start to pick up the speed a little bit, because you will have refined your feel of the water using all these different equipments and playing with your speed with the paddles and with the fins as well. So on round number 2, make sure you pick up the speed. And then finally, the very last part, the cool down, is 100 freestyle silent swimming. I love silent swimming. This is where you use all of your senses. You listen to the way your hand enters the water. We talked about that first part, the hand entry, the 5 phases. Make sure you think about when you're swimming freestyle, are you making a lot of noise, a lot of splash when your hand enters the water? If that's the case, it means you're creating resistance. So make sure you're entering the water as cleanly as possible, sliding your fingers in, and swim that 100 freestyle as silent as you can, engaging all of your senses, your mind, and your body. So that's a great workout. It's 2,500 meters or yards, depending on the pool that you're in, and it should take about 1 hour to complete. You can scale it up, you can scale it down pretty easily by removing the number of times you do this main set. But really what you're trying to do is focus on that progression, the core of the workout with fist drill, aqua knuckles, paddles, and then swim with fins, really working on your different feel of the water with different pieces of equipment, and it will really help you improve your feel of the water and fundamentally improve your pull and your catch. So make sure you check out the aqua knuckles linked below with that discount code in the description. Also, if you haven't checked out the MySwimPro mobile app, it's available for iOS and Android. If you want more workouts like this one and other ideas for training plans, personalized drills just for you, make sure you check out the MySwimPro app. Also, if you haven't checked out my new book, Swim Like a Pro, I've packaged everything I know about swimming into one book, so make sure you check that out. And finally, if you haven't joined the MySwimPro global community, we have over 10,000 members from over 100 countries. It's like your digital swim team. We have beginners, intermediates, triathletes, open water swimmers, former Olympians. They're all in there, so I hope to see you guys in there so I can encourage you to swim faster and smarter than ever before. Wish you guys the best and happy swimming.